for Real Hero Show. It says waiting, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not able to see the actual stream.
Y'all don't see it now?
Oh, there it goes.
Hey.
Now I do. Hey, all right.
Yeah, we're live.
Boy,
and I just got the notification on my phone too. Look at that. The notifications do work.
Wow, check that out. The Real Heroes Show. We are live on the interweb.
Live.
Corey here with Nick and Shane. We are ready to sit back, relax, talk some Ted Lasso, see where the universe takes us, as Sam Abasanya's father likes to say. Gentlemen, what's shaking?
Man, I've had an eventful weekend.
Yeah.
Nonstop ever since I guess Thursday night when we all got to watch the finale of season 2 and did a late recording, and yeah, it's been a nonstop weekend. My sister got married. You know, I tried to be the tough guy, Roy Kent.
Did you walk around saying "oi" the entire weekend?
Some people were like, "Hey, Roy Kent," and I was like, "Who the fuck are you?" I'm just kidding. I know you. I'm just kidding. It's fine.
And you saw No Time to Die, also, right?
I did, yeah. So nice. I had to get my hair cut, my beard trimmed. Then I went to a 10:40. It feels so weird to say. I went to a 10:45 a.m. showing of No Time to Die. I didn't even get out until I think it was like 1:50.
Sounds about right.
You know, so
sounds like plenty of time to die.
Someone on Twitter
plenty
said,
of time to live.
No time to pee.
That's a good one.
To be honest, I had not a large Coke, but just like a small Coke, which was still like this big. Yeah. And I finished it, and I didn't have to pee because my bladder was like, "Yo, this Daniel Craig is more important. Just chill out." So I did.
Daniel Craig. Cool,
I did.
Man.
And a Dolby Atmos. Oof.
Oh,
I miss that theater so much.
Yeah. I need to find like a middle of the week, like 10:30 a.m. showing of something in Dolby Cinema to check that out. It's been a long time. But so let's talk about Ted Lasso.
Let's do it.
Let's get it up,
man. Season of the Apple TV Plus phenomenon known as Ted Lasso has now finished up, and the whole point of this live stream is for us to get our feelings out there about not just the finale, because we obviously covered that in our video last week, but to kind of talk about the season as a whole, favorite episodes, favorite moments, where we think things are going to go for season 3. And then if we want to just talk about Star Wars and Marvel for the rest of it and alienate Shane, that's perfectly fine by me. So Shane, I'll let you get started, man. What are your thoughts overall on season 2 of Ted Lasso?
I think overall my review of the whole season would be bold but uneven. So You took season 1, which I think is nearly flawless, but it was this, optimistic, upbeat comedy, and they could have played it super safe and just done that again. But I think it would have gotten old, right? Like there's only so much of that you can put. And I think like the 10 episodes of the first season were really nicely done, and like it didn't overstay its welcome. So season 2, it decided to kind of flip everything on its head and be like, okay, what's actually driving these characters? Take a deep character study into all these people. Why is Ted the way that he is? What's going on with Nate? How is he going to develop? And stuff like that. And I thought that was really, really interesting. And not all of it paid off. There were a couple plot lines, and we'll go through like the specific plot lines.
Right.
But I feel like some of them were kind of weak and like kind of either died off or like weren't that interesting. But when it hit. I mean, when in that sort of, I think it was episode 10 where the funeral one, where you have Rebecca talking about her dad and Ted talking about his dad, and it's cross-cut. Like that is peak television right there. That is a phenomenal episode and a phenomenal moment. And that really hit for me. Some of the other stuff, not as much.
Okay. Nick, how about you, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, I think most of the storylines in this season fit. again, I think the whole Rebecca Sam one, much like someone made a comment on one of our videos, that Sam was unnecessary. And when I thought about it more of in the initial episode review, and even after that, when I watched it again, I don't want to say it was completely unnecessary, because I think there still served a purpose, right? Because it allowed both Sam and Rebecca to grow individually, and as even a fling relationship, to say like, this is what they knew and found of themselves, even while, and it kind of goes back to the first episode too, where Roy is telling Rebecca, you just don't settle. Right. And I don't think she was settling by any means by being with Sam, but she knows what she wants at this point. And I think there's a lot of room for her to find someone that kind of fits what Sam offered her, while at the same time maybe just being a little bit more of age. Not that there's anything wrong, about people dating people outside of their time frame, or age frame, but we know friends. Yeah, I could say even close people and family, like it's not unheard of. But I think just where they are both mentally, emotionally, and just career-wise too, right? It would have been hard, and they both kind of realized that and pointed it out. So I think because of that, it also answered some of our own questions about where we were going to this, even in our video reviews, right? So I think there's a lot that can still be done with both of their love lives, which I'm sure we'll see at some point. It's just a matter of when, right? So
yep. So Donna mentions in the chat that there was a fun switcheroo with Sam and Rebecca. They were leading us to believe it was Ted. And yeah, I remember that. I almost forgotten about it because we got the reveal. But yeah, for that one episode where they were cross-cutting between Ted on his phone and Rebecca on her phone, and you thought that they were setting up the banter relationship. And I think we even talked about it, like maybe Ted and Rebecca had this like awkward encounter, and then it was Sam instead. And they still had the awkward encounter at the bar. But I think a lot of people, and yourself included, Nick, think that eventually Ted and Rebecca are going to get together. So it was kind of playing off of that. I don't think they will. I hope they won't. Oh gosh, I really hope they won't.
Why do you hope they won't? What about that body?
I don't know. Maybe it's too predictable. But like, I don't know. I think it would be like a good statement that, like, you can have this, relationship with the opposite gender and it not be romantic in a show. Sure. It feels like in most of these shows, you've got that, the Ross and Rachel or the Pam and Jim, or it's like that sexual tension goes throughout the entire show and then it's finally resolved at the end. But it'd be nice to, get one where it's like, they're just really good friends and coworkers. And I mean, she's his boss. So it would be good to just leave that platonic.
Sure. And we all know that Ted has eyes for Sassy. So
it's true. We all do, don't we?
Yeah. And
Sassy's
someone has commented in our video on Friday that they're ready to see Sassy just completely eviscerate Nate next season.
Yes.
And I'm here. I'm for it. Let's do it. I want, like, the way that she tore into Rupert, but like times 10, which I imagine is what will happen to Nate if they ever meet each other, will be tons of fun. So we have some comments coming through. Closer to closing. Peace. Hello. Hi. How are you? Anthony, my good friend, saying, "Look at the clown in the hat in the top right," referring to me. That's adorable. Thanks.
Is that a Star Wars hat?
It is actually. Okay. It's an Empire tunic hat.
Yeah. I guess it's fitting for this season, right?
Yeah, this is the Empire Strikes Back of Ted Lasso. We're also reviewing Foundation on the channel, and there's a lot of, they say the word Empire like 75 times an episode in that show. But I so you guys know this. I wasn't a huge fan of the first season of this show. It was a love fest, and it was a little bit much for me. I am a negative son of a bitch sometimes, and it just didn't really resonate with me. This season really did it. I thought maybe some of the stuff's uneven and it didn't land the way that it could have or should have, but I thought it was much more dense. I thought that it leaned more into the drama side of things, and the episode length reflected on that. We start, if you look back at all of season 1, I think the longest episode's like 33 or 34 minutes.
Yeah.
And we got into like the 49, 50 minute range with this one, which is standard length for an hour-long drama on television. Normally that would be 44 minutes with commercials. So pretty cool that they kind of pivoted and shifted to that. And I'm curious, do you guys think we're going to see that in season 3? Do you think they're going to stick to the 45-minute format, or do you think they'll go back to 30?
Man, I hope we get longer episodes. I think maybe because they know what sort of fan base they've established, that how well people are connected to it now. The attention that it's grabbed because of, and not just because of the awards that it's won, but for people like yourself, Corey, that weren't so much of a fan of season 1, and I still know people that haven't seen it yet, and I'm like, you guys are sleeping on this show. And especially people that are big football fans too. Like this is right up your alley if you like football. And it's not just so much of a college football guy who's American with an accent that goes over to England and coaches the football team there. So there's a lot more to it. And again, I always just say, I don't have Apple TV Plus. I get that, but it's super cheap. This isn't like Netflix. You're paying $20 to stream. It's like $5-6 a month. And sometimes I know Apple will still do these, buy a new Apple product and get like a month or 3 free of Apple TV Plus. So that's huge.
Sony did one. If you're a PS5 owner, it's 6 months for free of Apple TV Plus, that's a hell of a deal right there. You can't fight that. So
that's actually pretty big too. So
yeah, absolutely. And because some of the best shows on TV now are on this streamer. It might not have quite as many as a Netflix or a Disney Plus, but I think the quality of what's on there is very good. And I think it's only going to get better as time goes by. So drop it in the comments. Freed and Sandy just discovered us. Quite impressed with the impromptu review of finale. Thank you so much. Love that.
Thank you.
My buddy Anthony here, AM Productions, had a bit of a problem with the explanation that Nate gave us, specifically when he said that Ted abandoned him. Am I the only one that doesn't remember this happening? I was hoping for more there. Yeah, I think so. We kind of touched on this in our video from Friday, but Nate is kind of taking his aggression from his father out on Ted in that scene, right, gents?
Yeah, so Kimberly said the same 100%. Thing. So this is actually a really good talking point because there's a lot of people that thought that the Nate turn was very abrupt. In this season, Nick Mohammed, the actor who plays Nate, actually put out a tweet explaining, sort of the background of the turn and how the writers were thinking about it. The writers have gone on record saying that they have planned Nate's arc for 3 seasons from the outset, like before season 1. So they said that they pitched it as a 3-season show. And of course, like they still had to keep season 1 self-contained because, what if it flops and nobody watches it and you get canceled? But they had planned out arcs for all of these characters. So Nate's arc was always going to be this turn and then villain in the 3rd season.
Right.
I will say, I can totally understand the subtlety to it. We knew Nate was being an asshole throughout the whole season. We didn't expect it to take this dramatic of a turn. But then in that final moment, I think, if you look back on this whole season, it's not that Ted did abandon him. It's that Nate felt that he did. I think that's an important distinction. Nick Mohammed mentioned that the only time that Nate and Ted talked before, just them together before this, was back in season 1, right?
Yep.
Everything else was a group moment.
Yep.
So basically, I think from Nate's point of view, he was brought up as this, he was going to be the guy who's giving all of them his coaching advice. And then Ted got bogged down with his mental health issues.
Yep.
And Roy came on, and he was juggling so many other different things that he kind of, I don't want to say forgot about Nate, but just didn't feel it as important. And for somebody who's looking for that validation so much, that really set Nate off of the deep end.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I was watching this finale again with my parents. They hadn't yet seen it, and they were both like, "Where the fuck did that come from?" Pardon my Roy Kent language, but I am wearing his shirt. Oi, where the fuck did that come from? So I'm trying to represent Roy Kent here.
I think a rewatch would help because I think you'll start to pick up on those little moments. Yeah. And like, it's easy for us to say that it made sense because we go on here and we talk about it for 45 minutes every week, right? And we're watching these episodes twice or sometimes 3 times or something like that, just to like be prepared. Whereas most people are kind of like watching this passively. They watch an episode, don't think much about it until the next week. And so when Nate makes that turn, it's like, where the hell did that come from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think if you watch it again, I don't know about season 1. I haven't done a rewatch of season 1, but maybe there's clues in there as well. But definitely season 2, I think we'll pick up on more and more clues that they threw in there early on.
All you have to do is look at his hair.
Yeah, that's
the visual cue, right? Is how gray his hair gets as the season goes on.
Yeah, and especially at the end when it jumps the 2 weeks ahead or whatever it is, right? And 2 months ahead, and
full wig.
And yeah, I mean, obviously we know that Nick Mohammed doesn't have a full head of gray hair, but it's kind of like his turn to the dark side, right? That's just signifying where he's at mentally. And I like, I might not have caught it the first time, but he does this thing with his eyebrow. It's just, know, and
did that like at the very last moment.
Yeah, last second before it cuts to black.
Yeah.
On the credits, and again, what a great job he did to just portray this fall off because of how much he's berated and beaten up from season 1, and as we see him do the same thing to Will in this season, and again his fall to the dark side, or to where Rupert is, right? It's sort of like shit attracts shit, I guess, because
I would hate to be a West Ham United fan.
Yeah, right.
That's a real team.
Anyone that's actually, yeah, I know. So it's, again, I mean, if anyone's ever seen or wants to go watch a movie called Green Street Hooligans, I highly suggest it. It's got Charlie Dunham, Elijah Wood. It's from like 2004, but it's all about the hooligans in football clubs, and it's all about West Ham. And there's a couple other notable actors in there. I can't think of their names, but you'll probably recognize them. But man, cool. I'm probably gonna go watch that again just because it's we're gonna be getting a lot more of West Ham United in season 2, I imagine. But it's like Ted says, at least we'll know Rupert's coming instead of these sneak attacks.
Yep.
So
yeah, I loved when he said that to Rebecca too, because Rebecca was saying it from the angle of like she's the only one that has to deal with Rupert and he's like her mortal enemy. But Ted kind of made it like, no, we all have to deal with Rupert because he's terrible and we all hate him and we're all friends with you. Which
fuck off and die.
Sassy's got some great comments.
We need some more Sassy in season 3. Let's catch up with some more of these comments here. Yes, Donna, when Roy walked on the field, Nate absolutely did lose it. That's fantastic. Matt Kremkow, do you think the season 2 finale was a little bit predictable? Yeah, we talked about it a little bit on the show. We kind of felt like we knew where some things were going to go, and we got a good handful of them, right? So predictable, maybe enjoyable. I think so. Sometimes predictable is the right call instead of writing yourself into a corner. So West Ham fans already got roasted in the IT crowd. I did not know that. Were you guys aware of that?
Or the IT crowd, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kimberly said, Donna, I thought that scene was setting up for instances where Nate would be overlooked for Roy, but I never actually saw it happen. Fair. I think Roy connected with the team a little bit more.
It was just more instances of Nate being pushed down, right? The Roy Kent effect. And Nick Mohammed actually mentioned in that tweet that like he didn't get the Nespresso machine. Everyone got Nespresso except for Nate. It's like just those little moments where it's like he's just repeatedly getting shit on, and I think it just all built up. And like we saw some of his nasty side in season 1, right? Where like he was getting bullied, but then like that little moment where he had to like tell everybody like the roast.
Yeah.
And he was just like eviscerating people. And it's like, this guy is actually really angry. And like at the time it was like, yeah, he's been bullied and all this pent up rage. And now looking back on it, it's like, okay, we're seeing a little bit more of his darker side. I mean, it's kind of God, I don't want to make this comparison, but everyone talks about Dany in Game of Thrones and her sudden turn. But like, I agree that it was too sudden, but there were hints.
Yeah, I mean, and
it's also 1 season versus like 9 seasons and the turn, right? Like the pacing was different between the show and that one.
Yeah, and I made that. I think I commented on someone's post for the video where the comparison between Daenerys and Nate. While there are similarities, Nate has a shot at redemption and Daenerys does not.
That is true.
Boom. But it's also I think the writers of this show have a lot of room to work with, whereas D&D just kind of didn't know what the hell they were doing. As they stated, and I think again this comes to a writing perspective with books, and having someone that can actually lay out the forethought of what it means to have these characters have a successful start and finish, where I think a lot of us would agree that Daenerys was robbed of that, much like other characters in the show in that final season. But I think the good thing is with Nate, again, I think we all hope that this season actually has more than, the show has more than 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Because as much as it would be great to see Nate have this turnaround and be humbled, I think again, having 5 seasons, right? Like the Breaking Bad, like 5.
Yeah.
5 seasons would potentially be the right amount to have like Nate continue to be a bad guy, or be just not a bad guy, but be the antagonist. But maybe, another, you throw some more people into the mix. So it's not just Nate. So people and viewers don't get tired of just continuously saying Nate's an asshole, Nate's an asshole, Nate's an asshole.
Sure.
At least this way, it's like, let's just take the focus off of Nate a little bit and we'll bring someone else into the picture. So we don't truly forget about Nate, but he's still there and he's still causing problems for Richmond. But someone else comes in the picture here and also causes like a different scene.
Yeah. They have built that rivalry with Man City still too. So it's not just West Ham. They haven't really gotten the better of Man City yet. They got crushed during this season. So that could be like the true end game where Nate's like the middle boss, and then getting past West Ham and him and Rupert could be the setup for them really taking off to go after Man City.
I think it'll be the opposite. I think it'll be West Ham will be the final boss, and Man City will be like the middle season boss or something like that. I mean, so I read an interview. We were talking about 3 seasons. I read an interview with Bill Lawrence who said they've sort of plotted it out for 3 seasons, but if they want them to have more, then he said that they'll try and wrap up the arcs that they had planned in 3 seasons and create new ones for anything past that. They said they're not really thinking about it yet. I would be shocked.
I can respect that though.
Matt says in the chat they can't imagine them ending it after 3 seasons, and I agree. Like this is a very popular show. There's no way. I mean, it's I mean, I would think they'll let it go for quite a bit longer, but I think what we might get is certain exits from the show, new cast, especially with sports, right? If you look at it, Friday Night Lights is a good example of a sports show that goes 5 seasons. And after season 3, they completely changed the cast. Like the entire, except for the coach and his wife and, a few of the main characters who kind of persist alongside of it. The coach goes to a different team. Like he goes to a different school and is the head coach of a different team. And so Michael B. Jordan is like the head character.
Really?
Yeah, he's in that show.
Fun.
Yeah, seasons 4 and 5. He's like the lead but he's the quarterback of the new team.
Fun.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think I agree with Matt saying that Apple probably can't see this being let go, right? I mean, if they keep, especially if they keep winning Emmys, I mean, that's just adding to the collection, right? And I think I think as long as the characters, or rather the writers, the actual people, still enjoy what they do, right? If the ideas are still fresh, they're still enjoying the acting, the writing, then by all means continue to do it. But I think the moment we as viewers can actually see it start to decline, like the quality of it, then we might be able to detect like the writing on these episodes have gotten a lot weaker. The characters just don't seem as strong anymore. Like, where are they going?
Yeah, that's what happened with
It's
The Office.
the Walking Dead effect.
Yeah, or The Office. Like once Steve Carell left, and it all kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah,
I mean, there were like a few bright moments, but like the quality of the show declined. It's like going back to the runtime that we were discussing. I think season runs are similar, right? Where it's like, I'm fine with giving creative people as much or as little time as they want. Like, I don't care if the episode was 10 minutes long, if it's a good 10 minutes, right? Same thing with the seasons. If it's, The Leftovers and it's 3 seasons and that is the story that you're trying to tell, that's fine. Leave it at that. If you can make a compelling 5 to 7 seasons, go for it. Make as many as you want. But if it really feels like they're just stretching it out and just milking it by the end of it, then that's where it gets a little bit bad. And it's so many shows do that. Like, as much as I am a huge Lost fanboy, like that show should not have been as long as it was. And Damon Lindelof had to fight the network so much to get it to end because he was like, I can't stretch this out any longer. There's rumors that like I think it was season 4, there's one episode where the entire backstory is about how Jack got his tattoo. And it's like the most hated episode of the entire show.
I remember
But there's rumors that Damon Lindelof wrote that episode because he was in a dispute, like a contract dispute at the time. And he wanted to deliver a flop so that he would have leverage with the network. That's always been kind of a rumor, is that the Jack's tattoo episode was what finally got him like the end date for his show.
Yeah, we've got some folks in the comments saying similar things to what you've got there. Jen said, I prefer a 3-season show if the arcs call for it. Nothing worse than a great show that gets dragged on too long and loses what makes it good. That's kind of similar to, Nick, you mentioned Breaking Bad. Vince Gilligan, who's the showrunner and executive producer for that show, AMC wanted him to go longer. And he said, no, we're not going to, because the last thing that he would want to do is overstay his welcome and then have people not remember the show for what it was and remember the show for what it became. So it will be interesting to see when we get to the end of season 3, where this will go. I think it looks like Joseph chimed in and said, starting new story arc sounds like the Scrubs season. I stopped watching the medical school season.
So Joseph,
which is funny,
I hope you know that's the
Lawrence
same showrunner, right?
Yeah.
Bill Lawrence is the showrunner for both Scrubs and Ted Lasso.
Yeah. Freed Insanity, an interesting point. Break up the football season across 2 television seasons and add more episodic content. That is an interesting way of looking at it. That way you don't feel boxed in by the beginning episode of the season has to be the first game, and then the finale has to be the final match. That's that is an interesting way of putting it. I didn't even think about that. It's good stuff.
I will say, and I saw this complaint numerous times, is this season focused a little bit not enough on the actual football, I think. Like we started off with, the scene with Football's Life. What's his name?
Danny. R.I.P. Earl.
Danny Rojas. Sorry. But we started off with that, and it was like this big game, and you started with all the talk of ties, right? And then like we completely forgot about the season until the Man City episode. And then we had that. And then like all of a sudden they're going to get promoted, like out of nowhere. I would have liked to see like 10-minute montage of them winning some football games or something. Or not even 10 minutes, 2 minutes, right? Just show them going on a run or something.
Yeah.
So that we know that like, that there's actual football being played in the background and they're actually doing well. Because it felt like they were like helpless, because we talked about it. Like when they lost to Man City, that was their only chance, right? And then like 2 episodes later, it's like they're 1 win away from promotion. It's like, where the hell did that come from?
Right.
Yeah.
It felt like maybe they focused too much on the characters and forgot, oh yeah, there's actually like a sports background here that we got to focus on.
Yeah, the time jumping is like I get it, and especially when you're only going through 30 to 40 minutes of an episode in 10 episodes. Like there's not a lot of time to cover all that, but I think there is a way to do it. And maybe if you split half the season between even half the time during episodes where majority or maybe a third of the episode is football related, because at the end of the day, this is a football related show.
Nick, can I stop you for a second? Shane's dog has entered the frame.
There's sirens outside, and
there's sirens.
So interested in sirens. So he's freaking out a little bit.
Little Bevo back there. Everyone's favorite Muppet.
Nice.
Sorry, go ahead, Nick. I was distracted by a dog. I had a squirrel moment. What can I say?
Squirrel. No, I think it would be cool to see more of it, and I think the football scenes that they've included in this show, have been very well done. I think
too much budget. They cost too much.
They seemed expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think for the amount of connections and the moolah that Apple has to kind of help. I mean, listen, if Foundation can get an absurd amount of money, and as successful as Ted Lasso has been, I don't see a reason why they couldn't have a bigger budget, again, to just make some things that are more like football related decision. Yeah, sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But I think for people just watching, like, hey, I want to see more football, great, like that's why not, right? I think the scenes that they've done, even if it was more camera focused on the players, so they don't have to do so much with the backgrounds, the CGI, the fans, the crowds, like in the finale, kind of like we predicted halfway through the season, where there would be a penalty kick involved, and it would be in a top left corner, and it would be during extra time to win. I mean, we made some good predictions, I think, overall this season.
Everything that has drama attached to it is pretty much.
Listen, we didn't strike out nearly as much as we did in WandaVision. So,
man, we were terrible in WandaVision. We shit the bed on that one.
Mephisto.
All of those wrong. Yeah. Let's catch up on some comments in here. Some of season 2 that got glossed over, the Dubai Air sponsorship drama. Yeah, that kind of happened and then fell away. Financial struggles at the club for a little while that were just never really talked about. I agree on.
Like, there's no way this startup dating app is actually financing a Premier League quality club, right? Like, that doesn't work. I don't know. Maybe they're just yeah. And it is, but like, why even talk about it if it's not going to be important?
Yeah. Right. Joseph timed the final match, and it was only 4 minutes of sports movie, which is it's pretty interesting when you think about it, right? It's literally only 4 minutes of screen time. That's pretty incredible.
And like, I get that it's not all about sports. However, I think like there was less of it as a framing device in this season, and like part of what makes it good is like it is a show about sports, but it's more than that, if that makes sense. But like, I think we still need the sports. Like, ultimately, that's what they're all there for.
Yeah, it's what brought them all to the dance, right?
So but I don't know. I am certainly interested in all the characters by this point, so I don't particularly mind it as much. It does feel a little bit weird to have a sports show where they've just completely forgotten about the actual sports.
True. Let's keep going. Anthony mentions it's almost kind of like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where being a show about cops is kind of a second priority. I like that.
Kyle has a good point in there that COVID may have reduced the amount of soccer scenes or football scenes that they could film.
That's true.
A good point.
An empty stadium probably wouldn't have been the best.
I think the stadium is actually CGI. There was a video on it on how they replicated all the fans. It was like 20 fans or something, and they replicated it throughout the whole stadium.
Yep. Anthony Zobko wrote in here, when Nate made the decision to take charge coaching the park the bus before he made the move, he spits on the field.
I did not see that.
And then it made him think about his spitting in the mirror differently, which instead of doing it to shame himself, it's kind of how he kind of hypes himself up to.
That's how I took it.
Big tough Nate, which that's good. I like that.
Yeah. So like I thought that was the whole point of that episode with Rebecca, where Rebecca does the like thing, and then they're like, you got to find your thing, and spitting on the mirror, that's his thing.
Yeah.
They created a monster in that episode, didn't they?
Boy, did they! But Rebecca doing that thing was hilarious.
Yes, it was.
That was fantastic. She deserves that Emmy that she won.
So do we just want to invade France now, or what?
Donna asked us, what was our favorite episode and least favorite episode? I went on record that the Beard offshoot was my favorite. I don't know what my least favorite was.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I don't know. That's a tricky one. Probably one of the ones in the middle where it kind of dragged a little bit. But
my least favorite one, I forget the name of it, but it was the episode where Ted repeatedly goes into Dr. Sharon's office to get therapy and like walks out.
Oh,
walks
yeah.
in and walks out.
Yeah.
That 3 times. And then Nate is also, I think it was the same episode as Nate becoming assertive. Was it the same one?
I think you might be right. I think the clickbait thumbnail I made for that one was not as good.
Yeah, that was my least favorite for sure. That one really felt like they were spinning their wheels a little bit.
Okay, well, which one was your favorite, Shane?
The funeral one, I think. That one was just like so well acted. We got rickrolled so hard.
We did.
There was a great like symphony of comedy and drama in that episode, and I think that's kind of where this show peaks. Like everyone talks about from season 1, the best moment. So the best moment in season 2 for me was that cross-cutting between Rebecca's story and Ted's story. Season 1 is the dart scene that everyone talks about. And the dart scene is also really well done. And I actually read something that in the scene where he's talking about his dad, they play the same music that they played in the dart scene of season 1. So it's kind of connecting those threads. Nice. But what I think is great about this show is it is so comedic and quippy and pop culture-y, but then when it has to take a somber tone, it does it eloquently.
Sure. Nick, how about you, buddy? What was your favorite and least favorite?
I don't know. I might have to agree with the least favorite one was probably the one where like what Shane said, because it annoyed me how we didn't really get much of Ted opening up, and we understand why, of course, in retrospect. But I think initially, it took him a panic attack to get there. So that might be my least favorite. I think if I binge the whole season again, I might come back and stay on the record for what it is. But I'll go with that episode for now. Favorite one? I mean, I obviously really enjoyed it, and I gave this the finale a 10 out of 10. So rating wise, I would say that this is my favorite. But I think the dynamic of the episode where this gets chanted by the whole stadium was pretty cool. Pretty fucking surreal, because that, like, you could just feel it. I mean, we were watching it and I was even yelling at the TV, like saying the same thing. He's there, he's every fucking where, Roy Kid. Oi!
That's why all of you are here.
Can I get an oi? Can I get an oi in chat? Type oi in chat.
Type oi in chat if you like Roy Kent, if you're just watching.
So that episode, Nick, we were on vacation when it came out.
Oh yeah, you were in Hawaii.
And I waited until we got home to actually watch it. And I was in like post vacation, like sort of depression. And then when I watched that episode, I was like, oh man, that's great. Another one that really warmed the cockles was the Christmas episode.
Yeah.
For me, I know that it was an offshoot. It wasn't part of the original season plan, but it was just a very heartwarming episode. And it aired, I think, in like late July or early August, which is the hottest part of the year in Florida where I live. Yeah. And it just made me pine for Christmas time. I wanted cold weather.
Yeah.
I wanted Christmas music. All that nonsense that look at all the oys in chat. The oys are coming through. Oi, oi, oi. Hey. I love it. It's terrific. Thank you.
Love it.
Everybody. I can't believe there are 25 people watching this right now. This
is
thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you so much for spending part of your Monday evening with us. Hopefully, if you had a bad day at work, because it's the beginning of the work week, we're making it a little bit better for you, talking about some Ted Lasso. So
also, big thanks for 500 subscribers. We were trying to hit that goal, and we blew through that line.
Yeah, it was a heck of a job by everyone. Really awesome to see.
We
really
weren't
happy
sure that was going to happen by the end of the year, and then it ended up happening in like a week. So, pretty amazing stuff. We're a lot of gratitude there. The new goal is 1,000, which lofty
tell
goals
your friends.
Please, for the love of God, tell your friends.
So post on social media, everything.
That's right.
I can only stay for a couple more minutes and before I pass it off to y'all. But since we're talking about like subscriber goals, I wanted to hear just a quick break from Ted Lasso because this season is ending and we're having to pivot into other content, right?
Yes.
What do our subscribers want to see from us? What do you want to see more of? What do you want to see less of? One of the things we're reviewing, or at least I'm reviewing with y'all too, is Foundation, which is another Apple TV show. Those go live on Tuesdays, although I think, are we going to give it the Monday spot going forward
most likely,
now that Ted's over?
Yep. Ted is done. Foundation will be on Monday starting next week.
I mean, we'll do new movies, we'll do new shows. But if anyone wants to see anything in particular, throw us a comment, throw us something in chat, and we'll do so. I mean, even old movies, if there's, I'm a big movie buff. I went to film school, and so I love talking about anything and everything movies or TV. So if there's even old stuff that you want to see us talk about, let us know.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. Leave us that comment. Let us know what new shows are coming out that you're interested in us chatting about. I know Succession is coming back soon. The Wheel of Time is premiering on Amazon soon, which we're planning on covering. Hawkeye's coming out later on in the year. There's a lot of shows that are coming. So if you'd like to see us cover them, please let us know for sure. I see what you guys are saying now, Justice. When we go big time, he was the only one commenting on video. You know what? We're going to write him a check when we're rich. I don't know how much money it's going to be for. It might be for about Tree Fitty. I don't know. But the check will be in the mail, Joseph. That is for sure. No Time to Die. Yes, we are going to do a No Time to Die review. I bought the 4K set over the weekend of the 4 other Daniel Craig Bond movies. So I'm going to catch up on Skyfall and Spectre because it's been a while since I've seen them. Then we're going to go see No Time to Die, and Nick and I are going to talk about it. My lovely girlfriend wants us to review What We Do in the Shadows. Good for you. We'll get there.
That's the show, right? Because there's a new season.
Yeah, the show.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't watched that show,
I haven't watched it yet.
It is the absolute funniest show on television right now.
So
you'll laugh literally from start to finish when you watch it. It's great.
Nick, have you watched Squid Games yet?
I have not.
So I've been hearing everyone talk about it, and so I feel like we should watch it and review it.
I've had a lot of people say like, "Oh my god, are you guys reviewing Squid Games?" And I'm like, I mean, we've had so much stuff to watch and just other stuff personal wise to do. So I think I could probably
might be my
binge
weekend
it.
project.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So,
since it's
I watched the first episode and it's really strong.
I know it's not Corey's favorite version of binging things, but
yeah, I hate binging stuff.
He might just have to muster it up and do it.
I've actually already seen the first 2 episodes of Squid Game though, so I think I only have like 7 to go.
I think there's a couple other things that I don't know if they're getting other seasons about, but I haven't watched it yet. But I think it's called Servant, the M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, I've watched the first season. It's pretty good.
Or show on Apple TV.
There's a new one coming out with Sam Neill called Invasion.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to cover that.
We're going to cover that.
We talked about that.
Because Sam Neill, I mean, Dr. Grant, got like easy.
And I think he has his Australian accent in this one.
I hope so. I hope so. Because
Freed Insanity asks, "Who's the best James Bond, and why is it Daniel Craig?" Absolutely.
Yeah.
To me,
I disagree.
Well, you're leaving soon. So that's fine.
So
no. Let's hear what he has to say.
He asked me the other day, like, is Pierce Brosnan or Daniel Craig a better James Bond? To which I answered, Pierce Brosnan is a better James Bond. Daniel Craig had better movies.
I don't like the Pierce Brosnan movies at all.
They're bad. They're bad.
Yeah.
But when I'm thinking of like who personifies and looks like James Bond the most, I think of Pierce Brosnan. It's a shame he was put in Sean Connery as well. Like between the two.
Game is afoot, Trebek.
The game is afoot, Trebek. Shuck it.
But I just I feel like he just got kind of screwed by bad movies, whereas Daniel Craig has had, one stinker with Quantum of Solace, which I thought was bad, but the other ones have been okay. Skyfall is incredible. Casino Royale is incredible. I haven't seen No Time to Die. Spectre was decent.
Spectre's bad.
It's not that's not Quantum of Solace bad. That was the
no. Yeah, he's kind of uneven. I mean, we'll talk about No Time to Die when we review it, but I'm hoping this one is a little bit better than Spectre.
So I remember, Corey will recall this, but a year and a half ago, I guess at this point, I went through a James Bond binge, and I started with some Sean Connery movies, and I went into the Pierce Brosnan movies, and I hadn't watched those in years. And I think GoldenEye was one of the ones that was big, and I remembered the most because Sean Bean was in it, but also because of the video game that was just a major successful hit for decades on Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
Slaps only.
It's like
slaps
one of
only.
The first good console first-person shooters.
Yeah, and I think again, it's just kind of going with that the way a Bond movie feels. There were some super campy and cheesy moments in the Brosnan flicks, but at the same time, I think he carried out this coolness of what it means to be James Bond. And of course, I think the cool stuff is with the tech, the chicks, the Bond women, the Bond girls, right? There's some big names in his movies. But I kind of like what Fried and Sandy said here, or who was it that? What Kyle said, how Connery and Craig are of the same cloth, Brosnan and Moore are the other side of the coin.
I can agree with that.
I can agree to that. And I think with now that the Daniel Craig arc of Bond is over, you can kind of make that comparison and equate how the different Bonds are of the same or sort of parallel, or kind of go off in a different perpendicular route from each other, which I think is great, because I think it's really cool to have the favorites that you liked or didn't like, which poses the question that I'll ask our viewers: who do we want to see as the next James Bond?
The obvious answer is Brett Goldstein, Roy Kent himself.
I mean, listen, why not?
Come on.
He's got the dark hair, the dark eyes.
Yeah,
he kind of goes back into that role, but
or Idris Elba, one or the other.
I would love Idris Elba.
I mean, who said he was it Superman who said he would be okay playing a villain, though?
He said he wants to be a villain. Yeah. I'd be down for that. He was great in Mission Impossible as a villain.
Yeah.
But
some people also said, I'm going to butcher his name, Reggie John Page, the guy from Bridgerton.
I don't know. I haven't watched
some people
Bridgerton,
said
so
he
I don't know
might
if he's
get it
or not.
I'm not sure about that.
Bridgerton is not great. It's something. It's like watching 50 Shades of Grey or something, in my opinion. Well, there's something to review. Bridgerton.
True.
We'll just start playing some, acoustic Taylor Swift songs.
I think it's like kind of saying the same thing, right? Like why not Tom Hiddleston? Maybe. Thoughts?
I saw Tom Hardy on a list. That would be cool.
I do not want Tom Hardy. No,
it's too I
don't know.
Almost.
No, I don't think he's got. I just don't think he has that
refinement. I guess.
Maybe.
I think he's also above it, to be quite honest.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say playing Bond is like a lower tier of stature by any means, but I think
I don't know. I think it kind of is. Not
to British people though. Like the Brits, they like James Bond is like.
I just don't see it as a performance-driven character. It's kind of every Bond plays it more or less the same beats.
I think maybe for the sake of Colin Firth. I think maybe in the aspect of ensuring a paycheck, and you'll probably make a decent amount of money as an actor if you get that role. It's kind of the same thing, like Bronson is a great.
Things.
Yeah, Bronson's great.
Real quick,
that's a
I
great
am going to
movie.
have to drop. I just want to say thank you all
A deuce,
for coming
or
out.
what are you? Oh, you're leaving. Oh,
yes,
you said a deuce.
He's gonna take a shoe.
I'm going to Edwin.
So Shane's going to do a live
here.
Edwin Akufo here on the show.
He's going to strangle a mannequin, poop on it, and then leave.
I actually have to go play hockey. I play hockey every Monday night, so that's what I'm off to do.
Yeah.
Thank everybody for being here.
Shane, I just want you to look at this.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
I hope the Stars have a good year this year.
Same. Well, for the Blackhawks' sake.
Yeah.
But,
what if they choose Chris Pratt? No,
we're division rivals. Chris Pratt. Oh God.
It's me, Chris Pratt.
Oh God.
All right, I'm gonna have to drop off. Thanks everyone for being
bye,
here.
Shane.
Later, Shane.
Drop the comments of what you want to see us review, and hopefully I'll see more of y'all soon.
Bye, buddy.
Yes, no pooping in the chat room. That would be very awkward.
Oh, finally, it's just us.
And stinky. And then there were two.
Please, no pooping in the chat room. Thanks, Anthony. Yes, we won't poop here. Colin Firth, how do you feel about Colin Firth as James Bond?
Man, I
he
think
did the Kingsman thing, right?
Yeah, so, I think that could possibly work, but I don't know if it's one of those. If they've already done a British type movie, is that necessarily being typecasted to a certain extent?
Yeah, it's like Jake Gyllenhaal with the cop stuff, like we talked about in the Guilty review, right?
Right. Yeah. So it's almost like who hasn't done a British-esque film that could take on a British-esque role, such as James Bond, that has an elaborate history, through decades, right? So I know we were kind of talking about this the other day, and figuring out who else could fill those shoes, because I don't want to say that's sort of hard shoes to fill, but kind of like to your point,
it's tough, man.
When Daniel Craig came on, they're like, blonde hair and blue eyes. What's this?
They did not like him. The British community was very against Daniel Craig. He was too short. He's blonde. He's got blue eyes. He's not a man's man or whatever. And now, like, the whole world knows who Daniel. He got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame last week. Like he is a bona fide movie star. But now he can just go. He can go be Benoit Blanc in all the Knives Out movies from here on out, which is also a great role for him. But
absolutely.
Yes, Gritty. We should review Gritty. He's a terrific mascot. That's my review. He slaps. Joseph wants to know, what's your NHL team? Nick, you're a Blackhawks guy. Right?
Chicago Blackhawks all the way. Yep.
Yeah. I'm from New Jersey, so I used to root for the Devils, but now I live here in Florida, so I could be the jump on the bandwagon type guy and go for the Tampa Bay Lightning, but I won't, because
I'm glad.
I enjoy losing. So there you go.
John Hauser. No, yeah, what Matt says, going younger for Bond, more longevity, which I think that's something you and I talked about, right? Like when did Daniel Craig start at what age to where he is now, right? I mean, he went from his 30s to his 50s.
Yeah.
And I think maybe go early, well, not maybe early, but like late 20s. So if he does this role for 20 years, maybe, he's kind of put in the mid 40s, late 50s, or mid to late 40s, range. And I think that would probably be appropriate. I just thought of someone and I totally forgot. Wow. That could possibly do this. Oh man, it'll come back to me in just a moment.
Let's read some of these comments here while you're thinking. Taron Egerton, interesting, because he also had the Kingsman thing with Colin Firth. He also was outrageous as Elton John in Rocket Man. That was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
The guy who played Neville Longbottom in Harry Potter, Matthew Lewis. Yeah, I actually met Matthew a couple years ago at a Harry Potter event at Universal Orlando when I was doing some journalism stuff. He's a super nice dude, and he does not look like Neville Longbottom from the beginning of those movies. He could be a Bond. Christian Bale, I don't see Christian Bale as Bond. He's done everything else at this point, and I don't know.
It's like that. I think he could. It's like one of those things he could probably pull off, right? But he probably doesn't see a need to.
He probably doesn't want to, right?
Yeah. Because he'd probably only do it for like one movie and then be out. And like sequels, no, I don't do that.
Freed Insanity says Tom Holland. That's as young as you can get.
You're not wrong.
He could do it. I don't know if he's going to want to after probably the better half of a decade of playing Spider-Man and being another
locked into a
ginormous character and being kind of stuck in that, but we'll see. Matt asks, where in New Jersey did I grow up? I grew up in Edison Township, right in the middle of the state. Went to Rutgers University, which is where I got my degree. Hated winter, moved down to Florida, and now I live in Orlando. So, John David Washington. I like that suggestion. I think John David Washington is fantastic.
He's a great.
He can put on a British accent, right? Why not?
Well, I mean, when you've got he's Denzel's son, so
you know what? I think one of these days he's going to give Denzel a run for his money as far as acting chops go. He's real good.
Nicholas Hoult. Oh yeah, dude. There's a movie that's on Netflix. I can't think of the name of it. That he was in. It was recent, maybe sometime in August, I think. There's not much to it. He's on the run because he's just in the wrong.
Nicholas Hoult was in, or John David Washington?
John David Washington.
Yeah, it's called Beckett.
Yes, Beckett.
He gets in the car crash and then he's on the run.
Yeah, he was phenomenal in that. The story was kind of okay, but I mean, he just absolutely did a great job, per usual. But yeah, I think Nicholas Hoult could pull it off too. But I mean, I might have to agree with Anthony and say Tom Hiddleston. But the only thing is, again, we're talking about age, and I think that's the hardest. Oh, I thought about. Oh my god, I can't think of his name.
Did you lose it again?
No, I have the actors. You're gonna hate me the fact that I forgot his name too. Like, you're an idiot for forgetting this. But Cillian Murphy.
Oh yeah. So did you see he just got cast in Christopher Nolan's next movie? He's gonna be John Oppenheimer. The atomic bomb, which will be really interesting because it's Nolan's first movie switching from Warner Brothers to Universal Studios. Check this out. Universal agreed a 100-day theatrical window with no digital release, no Blu-ray. Like, that's like, you do the math on that. That's a good 3.5 months in theaters by itself. That's some wild stuff. Let's see. Yeah, John David Washington showed chops in Tenet. I agree. I thought he was really good in Tenet. They didn't have a ton of story to go with, but I thought he did a good job. Dan Stevens. Yeah, I can see that. If you've seen Legion, Dan Stevens is pretty excellent in Legion. I think he's also the voice of the main deviant in the Eternals movie that's coming out soon. Scratch Will Poulter off the list because he was just casting Guardians Volume 3. Hell yeah, we have an Adam Warlock, baby. Excited about that. That's gonna be. I can't wait for that.
Nate Mohammed Bond. Oh man,
that's fun. Nate Mohammed is Bond. You know what? Gray-haired Bond. We were talking about going young. Let's just go in the total.
What about Mr. Jamie Tat?
He's very suave looking, and he's got the right hair for it. You know.
Yeah, we get the suave ladies. You know, I mean, I don't know about all the stunt work, but I mean, they just get a stunt guy to do all of it.
Go out of the box and do someone like Dev Patel. I thought he was excellent in The Green Knight, which there will be a 4K Blu-ray review of The Green Knight on the channel this week that arrives here tomorrow. Very, very excited to check that out in the home theater. He did a great job in that. Nate would be offended by my laughter. Yeah, well, oh well. He can spit at himself in the mirror if he's offended. I don't care. I don't want it.
I didn't want it. No, I mean, I think one of the, I'd love to talk about No Time to Die, but
no,
I
haven't seen it yet.
Throwing full spoilers in there, but
no,
man, I want to say this. I don't know when they plan on making another Bond movie. I think it would be, wise for them to kind of let Daniel Craig run off in the sunset as this being his last movie. So I hope it's a few years until we get any sort of news.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw like a number. I'm just like, I hope it's like 5 years maybe.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Just let it not die down, but just kind of let it settle.
Sure.
And then kind of toss some names around, see who's of age or willing or wants to play it.
I think they said they're not even going to start searching until sometime next year. And then if you put the casting search, that'll probably take a good 6 months or so. Then to write a script, then to shoot. Like, I think you're looking at least 2 or 3 years before another one comes out. And I'd be completely fine if they went like 5 years or so without doing another one. I think that'd be totally normal.
I agree. Freed Insanity said No Time to Die was by far the best final film for a Bond actor. I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
I haven't even seen it, and I agree. Just because the other ones don't really have endings. It's just kind of like, oh, Pierce Brosnan's done.
No, this
all right. Next,
yeah, this was definitely the most fitting of Bond finales for an actor playing Bond. And for it being the longest Bond film too, I certainly enjoyed all of it, and it didn't seem to drag on. Again, I think I was just so captivated by being in a great theater and just everything that they kind of connected in the movie.
I've heard the third act is incredible too.
It really is. I mean, again, like I think once this comes out, it's on on disc format. I might just watch Casino Royale, Skyfall, and then No Time to Die,
and skip the other two.
And it's kind of just determine which one I like the most, because man, just trying to think about all three, it's so it's tough. It's tough.
My buddy Anthony in here is saying he didn't know that Will Poulter was cast for Guardians 3. Maybe if there was a YouTube channel that gave him weekly movie news that he was subscribed to, which he has privately texted me about that on several occasions, and maybe someday. But to our credit, the Will Poulter thing didn't hit the internet until like an hour before we did this video. That is like hot off the press, brand spanking new. James Gunn confirmed it and said, see in a few weeks, Adam Warlock, which that's exciting. I love that character. I think it's gonna be really cool. I think Guardians 3 is gonna break some hearts though, for sure.
Yeah. I can't wait for that. I mean, obviously having Adam Warlock in the MCU is such a pivotal and important character to have because of what's coming. I'm sure people that are watching or will watch this, hopefully this part of our live stream, but Adam Warlock had a big piece and a plan to do with the Infinity Gauntlet. And it was because of Adam Warlock that Thanos was able to be stopped. Which obviously we didn't see him
didn't happen. Sure.
And in this, and we got a very, very different story, which we all still loved. But based on what's coming with Kang, and then who the hell knows what's going to be happening with the inclusion of the Fantastic Four, the mutants, all those villains that are associated with those characters. I mean,
the Eternals, the Deviants,
right?
We're getting into God territory now.
Yeah, so. Like the level of the power creep, as it's called in video games, right? Like, like it is just ascending cosmically. To the point where you got to have like Thor on God level. And you've got to have, again, once Silver Surfer gets in here, I mean, we're going to be all over the place with these characters that are just immense on the scale of don't mess with us, but at the same time, whoever is messing with them is going to be a very formidable foe, right?
Yep.
So
I agree. Some folks here in the chat. Anthony's got to go. Bye, Anthony. Good to see you, buddy. Love you. Rachel in the 208 just got here. What are we talking about? Well, Rachel, we were talking about Ted Lasso. We went on for about 45 minutes about that. And then we went off on a really, really long tangent about James Bond. And that turned into Marvel Comics. So, however, Freed Insanity just tied all of those threads together for us very conveniently and asked, what about Hannah Waddingham as M? I think that would be fucking fantastic.
I really like that, actually. That would be super, super awesome.
That would be very cool.
Because Judi Dench was just amazing. And obviously just everyone knew her for that role, right? So but I think
Hannah Waddingham is a boss ass bitch, as
she is.
The show has let us all know.
She is a boss ass bitch. But yeah, no, that's great. I kind of hope they keep some of the same actors, like But again, they could go to a completely different route, right? So like we don't have the same Q or Moneypenny, right? So again, I'm wondering if this is a whole fresh start or if they kind of continue on where this went. That'll be interesting because I don't know if I want them to start from scratch. I kind of like the verse that they've already created with Daniel Craig's Bond. But at the same time, if they do start from scratch, it does open up other roles for other actors to have a chance to play these well-known roles and characters in the Bond universe.
Yeah, it's an interesting conundrum that they're in, because it's do you create another James Bond, or do you just create a new 007 that has a different name than James Bond and then stay in the same universe or whatever? But Keith has now joined the chat, and he said, come on, if they'd given it a couple more movies, Steve Rogers would be a god level. You're absolutely correct.
I mean, he is worthy, as I got my screensaver still for years.
Do you have the same one still on my phone with the hammer?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that Boss Logic?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Boss Logic.
Boss Logic. Yeah.
Juno Temple in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I need it. Hell yeah. Why not? Let her be Sue Storm. That'd be great.
Sue Storm would be a good role for her.
Fantastic Four coming up.
And then Brent Goldstein as Mr. Fantastic.
There it is.
Yes.
There's your fantasy booking right there.
Yeah.
So now we have to find
Jamie Tartt as Johnny Storm
as the Human Torch, and then who's the Thing?
Beard. Coach Beard is the Thing, because he'll headbutt you, and why not?
Man. It's clobbering time.
It's clobbering time as he's out in the back alley getting wasted. He can't find his keys
with Royd Kent.
And weird shorts, but yeah, being chased by Royd Kent.
It's fun. Man, I can't believe we're getting a Fantastic Four movie that's not going to suck.
I can't wait for it. It'll be a once in a lifetime thing.
That's going to be good. So so we're getting into the little bit over an hour long range. If anybody's got any other Ted Lasso related questions here in the chat, now would be a good time to ask them. We're probably going to start wrapping up here in a few minutes. Jason Sudeikis as Ted Lasso as James Bond. I like that. That would be pretty funny. Mustache or no mustache, though? That's the real question. I don't know if the Brits would be okay with James Bond having a mustache, but
yeah. Could you imagine that? Like, oh no, I want it shaken, not stirred.
Not stirred.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll just have water.
Yeah. What's this, still water? I thought that would just continuously be in water.
So have you ever noticed, someone pointed this out on Twitter, Daniel Craig's James Bond is never actually drunk in any of those movies. He will casually drink, but he never actually really gets to the point where he's like wasted. Other people around him are, but he holds his alcohol because he's always on point. I thought that was a pretty neat thing that somebody pointed out. Has Bond ever had a mustache? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
Did Connery have one, a goatee or beard or anything, or was that later in his career?
I think it was just him later in his career, but I don't
think
it
was like Hunt for Red October time, right?
Yes.
Oh, Trebek.
Trebek, make a sound your mother makes. Rough.
What's the difference between you and a mallard with a cold? One's a sick duck. I can't remember how it ends, but your mother's a whore. So what do you guys think is Nate's role on his new team? He's the head coach. I fully believe that he's the head coach, right?
Yep. Head coach, because again, from me just watching it before we went on tonight, there's other people that are running the players through drills, and it starts to pan out more, and then you see Rupert walk by and kind of like whisper something in his ear and look towards us as viewing the camera.
Yeah, he's Slugworth from Willy Wonka.
Yeah. And then
that? My girlfriend pointed that out. She's very smart.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
She's watching the stream, so I have to make sure I say those things.
But yeah, head coach for sure. And I think, especially in the event of West Ham beating Richmond, maybe the first time they meet each other, Nate, I expect Nate to just go full douchebag and sing, see, Ted, I told you, you're a fucking joke. You're worthless. I abandoned you now. Yeah, go back to Kansas with your son.
Is that John Lennon or
go back to Nate is John Lennon's.
You ever see Walk Hard, where the comedians play the Beatles? It's fun. Let's see what else. Bill Lawrence said that Sharon and Trent will have big roles next season. Any predictions? I think we kind of discussed the idea of Trent possibly joining the staff at AFC Richmond now that Keely's going off to do her own thing. But Sharon, I don't know, because it seems like her tenure with the team was over. Maybe she'll become more of like a personal therapist to Ted and not like a team contracted one.
Yeah, I think I read in somewhere, it might have been Donna that might have said that. I think it's rumored or is already on credits, correct me if I'm wrong, that both Sharon and was it Sassy, that it will be in season 3.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think it's safe to say, because just like you were saying, maybe she continues to be Ted's personal therapist. But I think that's an interesting thought. Sharon and Ted being romantic. I mean, I think we kind of talked about that possibly happening in this season. Like, I mean, especially in that last the goodbye part, right? Like, I especially when he conveys his frustration to her about leaving with just a letter, and then he's in her apartment, and then he reads the letter right in front of her, and it kind of starts to get emotional, and nothing ended up happening, and he pulled a fast one on her with her own move, and he just dipped out. But I don't know. There could be
only time will tell on that one.
Spicy meatballs.
There's a couple options for Ted, and we all know after this season that he's packing downstairs, so the ladies will be after him for sure. Nate was really telling Ted about how he felt about his own dad. Yes, absolutely. He didn't have the stones to do it to his own father, and he sees Ted as somebody that he can get away with doing that to, and he took advantage of Ted's niceness. Wholeheartedly agree there. Shipping Trent and Ted, that's a fun vibe. They do have some chemistry. That is true. Rebecca said she would hire Keely. Maybe Trent is writing a book about the American football coach in London, so he's hanging around the team doing interviews. I kind of like that. That'd be cool. Anything to get Trent like in the clubhouse instead of in the press room, I think would be pretty neat.
Yeah, I definitely want to see more of Trent next season.
Me too.
Because again, if he's got a great head of hair, and it'd be a shame to just not continuously show that. But no, I will agree with Rachel. Ted and Sharon definitely have chemistry. I just wonder, kind of like the comparison with Sam and Rebecca, to what end would Ted and Sharon have by being together? Like, chemistry aside, well, more so maybe therapist aside, for someone that's, because I know that's kind of like against the codes of being a therapist,
right,
to not date your own clients.
Yep.
So I wonder if it would, maybe to your point, Rachel, like maybe if there's a point where it kind of turns into the romantic side of things, but maybe they kind of confront each other and say, listen, to make this work, I can't be your therapist. So do you want me as your friend and therapist, or do you want me as your friend and like life partner?
Kind of like Sam and Rebecca this season.
Exactly.
Like, we can't do this because the professional relationship. Yeah.
Right. So, and again, but that's another conversation about what's to come. But same thing with like Ted and Rebecca, right? Like as much as I think that'll happen, it has to get to a point where Rebecca steps down or Ted steps down in their respective roles. And I honestly can't see either one of them doing that. And I think that would probably make I don't know, just like it would make an interesting funk on the show.
Yep.
And in the episode. So again, if we're talking like what's a safer route to go with writing wise,
yeah,
Sassy.
Yeah, she's the safe route for sure.
Yeah,
and she's a firecracker.
To
complement Ted in a different way that Ted is like the squeaky clean firecracker, and Sassy's the the savage one. So
Yeah.
Trent Krim, new assistant coach. It's fun. If you remember, Higgins told Ted that Dr. Stone had an emergency. That emergency was Rupert. That's an interesting idea. If she was playing both sides of the fence, that'd be cool. I can't see Sharon or Rebecca. Doesn't have to be opposite sex. It always has to be love interest. True. Very true.
Yeah.
Sam and Rebecca will be the new hot thing in the tabloids. I was actually kind of surprised that there weren't any photos that came out. Like, we thought there would be something that got out there about the two of them, and then it ended up being the thing that got out was about Ted. So it was a little bit of a bait and switch on that, and it seems like the Sam and Rebecca thing is still held within the confines of the team. So
Right.
We'll see. Sam decided to stick around Richmond. He did say that it was for him and not for Rebecca, but love does weird things to people, and who knows? Only time will tell on that one. Sharon is no longer the therapist. That is true. They even crafted that whole choreographed dance to the NSYNC song and didn't get to perform it for her.
Sadly.
Sassy was just for fun. Yeah, maybe. She definitely would be fun. She's a
fun
wild
time.
one. So good stuff. Well, man, I don't know about you, but we've been on here for a little more than an hour and 15 minutes. I think this is about as good a time as any to wrap this thing up and take it home. Any final thoughts out there for the listeners and the subscribers and all the folks when it comes to Ted Lasso season 2?
Well, I think we got one hell of a season. As much as I enjoyed season 1, season 2 was definitely a step above, right? Thoroughly enjoyed what they gave us. I think season 3 definitely has its work cut out for them, right? Not just the individual character arcs, the overall season 3, tying up some not loose ends, but tying up continuations from this season. I think I think in the event that those ends are tied up for season 3, and hopefully Apple wants more seasons to come with maybe 4 or 5 fourth or fifth season. Sorry. I would love it. I'm sure a lot of people will. And again, I think in terms of being better than yourselves, in this making the Empire Strikes Back episode, and next season might be the Return of the Jedi.
Murder Bears. Murder Bears in the Forest, season 3 of Ted Lasso. Book it.
Yeah. So, who's going to be Palpatine? I guess that would be Rupert. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, man. So Nate is
he's Vader.
Anakin?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even with the quick turn, I know
someone's gonna chop off his arms and his legs. So
that'll be
who's
Sassy.
that gonna be?
Sassy will do it.
Or Beard.
Beard will headbutt his arms and legs off.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I would say parting thoughts for this season. This is the season that got me really hooked on the show. I'm really happy that it happened. I liked all the progression that we got with all of the characters. If season 3 truly is the end, boy, they have a lot to cover in 12 episodes to put a neat little bow on this, but we shall see. Only time will tell on that. It is going to be a very long 10 or so months until season 3 comes out, but we've had a great time covering it. You can bet your ass we're going to cover it season 3 when it comes out. In the meantime, though, we are covering lots of things. We are covering Foundation, which we mentioned earlier in the stream. That's going to be moving to our Monday slot starting next week. If you haven't watched that show, it is nothing like Ted Lasso, but it is also very good. And we're doing our best to try to break it down and explain it to everybody who may have some confusion with the heady sci-fi concepts. We just wrapped up on Marvel's What If, but we are going to have a video later this week, just kind of wrapping up that season as well with some of our ideas for where season 2 of that could go. We're going to have more movie reviews. When Hawkeye comes out, we're going to be reviewing that. The Wheel of Time on Amazon. I think we're doing The Shrink Next Door on Apple TV. When that comes out, we're going to do Invasion on Apple TV as well. Nick is still reviewing season 2 of C, also covering Doom Patrol. So just because Ted Lasso is done doesn't mean that you guys have to leave us. We're still chugging along. We got lots of TV shows and movies and 4K Blu-ray reviews that we're talking about. And based on the way this went, I think we should probably do a live stream like once every week or two. I don't know about you, Dick, but that's kind of where I'm at.
I was going to propose to everyone, how would everyone feel if we went live, once a week or every other week, or on big releases? I mean, because there are a bunch of, big things that are coming, TV show or stream show and movie wise.
Yeah, maybe we could do like spoiler type stuff when big movies, like when Dune comes out. We'll do like a live stream to talk about Dune a couple days after and talk spoilers on it.
Yeah, I'm totally down to Dune that.
Dune that with
so
Denis
funny.
Villeneuve.
Villeneuve.
He's
hopefully I said
French
that
Canadian.
Right. For All Mankind, yeah.
For All Mankind, I watched the first season. I liked it a lot. I've been meaning to start season 2. I just haven't gotten around to it because things have been super busy. But season 1 was fantastic. Another good Apple TV show.
Once a month.
Yeah,
5 times a week.
That's the quit the full-time job thing.
Yeah,
and go on YouTube. We don't make that kind of money yet. We don't make any money.
That's us actually having a full, as I think Joseph said, once we make it.
Yeah,
that's right. The big times.
Once we start cutting Joseph checks, that's when we'll be on 5 times a week. But so we got a lot of stuff coming. We're really excited about it. Just want to say thank you to everyone who jumped on board, whether you were here the whole time, whether you're here for 5 minutes at the beginning or the end. We greatly appreciate everyone showing up, being active in chat. This was a fun way to spend a Monday. Looking forward to doing it again sometime soon. Be on the lookout for more videos. Like and subscribe. And until next time, we'll see you guys in the next video.
Cheers.